The Haunted School. The old school building was dark and silent. The only sound was the occasional creak of a floorboard as the wind blew through the cracks in the windows. Billy, a young boy, was walking home from school late one night. He was tired and wanted to get home as soon as possible. As he passed the old school building, he heard a noise coming from inside. He stopped and listened. The noise came again. It sounded like someone was crying. Billy was curious. He had heard stories about the school being haunted, but he didn't believe them. He decided to go inside and investigate. He opened the door and stepped into the dark hallway. The air was cold and stale. Billy could hear the sound of his own breathing. He slowly walked down the hallway, his heart pounding in his chest. He came to a door that was slightly ajar. He pushed it open and peered inside. The room was dark, but Billy could see a figure sitting in the corner. The figure was hunched over and rocking back and forth. Billy took a step into the room. The figure raised its head and looked at him. Billy gasped. The figure was a young girl. She had long, dark hair and pale skin. Her eyes were wide and filled with fear. "Who are you?" Billy asked. The girl didn't say anything. She just stared at him with her empty eyes. Billy took another step towards her. "Are you okay?" he asked. The girl's mouth opened, but no sound came out. She started to cry again. Billy reached out to her, but she backed away. "Don't come near me," she screamed. Billy stopped. He didn't know what to do. He had never seen anything like this before. The girl stood up and ran out of the room. Billy followed her, but she was too fast. She disappeared into the darkness. Billy stood there for a moment, trying to make sense of what had just happened. He shook his head and turned to leave. As he walked out of the school, he heard a noise behind him. He turned around, but he didn't see anything. He started to walk home, but he couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. He kept looking over his shoulder, but he didn't see anything. Finally, Billy reached his house and went inside. He locked the door and collapsed on the couch. He was exhausted, but he couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the girl he had seen in the school. He didn't know if she was real or just a figment of his imagination, but he knew that he would never forget her.